Pulling back the ivy a little, the nation's most prestigious schools are sitting on hundreds of billions of dollars in endowments, but they're still receiving grants and aid from U.S. taxpayers, hitting the taxpayer upwards of $41 billion from 2010 to 2015. This is the equivalent of $120,000 per student over the same time period. Joining us now is Representative Tom Reed, Republican from Arizona. He's been looking into some of this. Now, Congressman, the top 10 universities, we put our own list together. The top richest universities in the U.S. have a total endowment of $169 billion. Why do they need tens, if not hundreds of billions from U.S. taxpayers?
Well, that's the question I'm asking. And in our legislation we've been working on for the last year and a half, 2 years, all we're asking is that this money go to working families and tuition reduction on the investment income that comes off these billions of dollars in a tax-free manner. If the taxpayer is paying for it, I think we can do better in the Ivy Leagues and elsewhere that are sitting on huge dollars worth of this tax-free money. You
know, that is a point that needs emphasis. All of the money that they make in investments is tax-free. Now, they're educational institutions. I don't want anybody to pay more in taxes, but just the income alone is enough to pay for tuition for all the students. So why do any of the students need aid from U.S. taxpayers when they have enough in their endowment to pay for all their students?
Well, you're definitely agreeing with me, and that's what we put forward to them. But as they'll argue as well, this is money coming in from the taxpayer dollars so that we can grow our institutions and get bigger and stronger. But at the end of the day, they have to be able to be on their own 2 feet, because if they become self-sustainable, those resources could be allocated to our tech schools. They could be allocated to our community colleges, for other opportunities for hardworking taxpayers across the country to provide the opportunity and success that an education provides.
Now, we have seen just in the short time that President Trump has been in power that the swamp is pushing back. That is, for all the efforts to drain the swamp and those people who've been feeding at the trough for so many years, to mix my metaphors here, that they're not going to give up easily. Do you really think there's a chance that the Ivy League institutions who have their fingers in so deep into the bureaucracy that they're going to have those fingers pulled back?
Well, I'm definitely going to do everything in our power. As sitting on the committee that writes the tax policy, Ways and Means here in D.C., this is a top priority for me. And I know, talking to the president and being part of the campaign and the transition team, he gave a great speech in Pennsylvania on this exact issue. It's time for the hardworking taxpayer families to be the people we stand with, not these large multi-billion-dollar endowments that are accumulating tax-free dollars. Yeah. Those are taxpayer dollars that are being spent.
You have probably already heard from those who you want to take away from those who, the endowment funds, the people who run the endowment funds, the people who run these universities. What do they say? How are they going to fight back?
Well, they essentially just say the argument, we're doing God's work. We're educating folks. But as I say, I agree with you.
Well, they've got as much money as God, so they better be doing God's work.
Well, I agree with their purpose. And what I'm saying is, when we have a college cost crisis across the country, and that's a part of our reform, too, is to put spotlights on where they spend the money and make sure that they're committed to reducing the college costs, because that's how we're going to deal with this for generations to come.
All right. Well, they don't need more tax money. That's clear. All they need is their endowment. And they got that. I'm glad they have the money, but they don't need more money. Thank you very much, Congressman. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me on.